He's the CEO of a large company and he attends to several meetings during the week. Sometimes with his staff, others with heads of subsidiaries, people that come to him with new projects, ideas. I think you got it. It's a lot. When he first contacted me, he was struggling with the follow-up of all these meetings. He would take notes anywhere and everywhere, paper, notebooks, apps, and then it would be very hard to find where he took that note and follow up with what was discussed during the meeting. I'll show you what we did in a moment, but before we go to the computer, we have to talk about chronology in Evernote. There's no task, there's no tag, or anything else in Evernote without a note. Maybe that's why it's called Evernote. Furthermore, every time we create a note, Evernote will automatically add the date and time to that note. And if it was created on a phone, Evernote will also add the location. In other words, this is invaluable information that we do not have to remember to add to the note. Now, if we order our notes in chronological order, more specifically in reverse chronological order, it's going to be very easy to find the note we just created 5 minutes ago, or maybe 1 hour ago, or yesterday. They will all be below the note we are working on right now. I have already published an article about this topic. You'll find the link on the description below, but I think it's going to be easier if I go to the computer and show you how it works. I knew that I would need to make taking notes in Evernote as easy as possible. Not that I have anything against paper, but a person in his position, he needs to find that information as fast as possible to take action. My strategy was to create a notebook and ask him to take all his notes in that notebook. I asked him for a name. He told me a good name would be Notepad, so that's what we named it. I also told him to make that notebook his default notebook, and finally add that notebook to the shortcuts area. There is no excuse here. There are several ways to get to that notebook, and I of course asked him to install Evernote everywhere, on the computer, tablet, phone, everywhere. And then I gave him a single mission, not to be mistaken with simple mission, especially in his case. I told him, every time you need to take a note, use that notebook and create a new note. It can be a meeting note, it can be a phone number, a reminder, anything. Are you getting it? Not only I'm trying to make him use Evernote, I'm trying to teach him how valuable the chronology is. Next week when we met, he had a lot of notes, and that was perfect to start working on the next steps of my plan. Remember my people tag tree? Remember that I have it on the shortcuts area, and if I need to find something about this author, all I have to do is click here and I'll see all the notes with his name. We did the same thing for his stuff. So let's go to that notebook again. See how this is useful? It's a matter of just clicking there and getting back to the notebook. Everyone in the company that he interacts with, that he has meetings with, have a tag with their names. So let's say this is last week meeting with me. It has my name as a tag, and now he would create a new one. So today's meeting, it can be any title or no title at all, but one important thing, add my tag. Okay, now having my tag here means that if he filters by my name, or even better, use the shortcuts area, he'll see all the notes that he took while talking to me, or anything that he wanted to ask me. He wanted to remember that for our meeting. He could just create a note, add my name as a tag, and now that it's our meeting time, he can filter by my name and see everything, and also start taking notes during this consulting session. Okay, this is already pretty good because he has a timeline of all that was discussed during all the meetings with that person. But what about the to-dos, the tasks? I guess Evernote can help us here too, right? Let's imagine this is the real-time note-taking of last week's meeting. He would then add a task here with whatever he asked me. Now let's do it again. Clear, today is my meeting. I'm gonna select he's gonna select my tag. Here it is. So this is today's meeting. He's taking notes here, and then he can come back here. Oh, I also asked you last week for this and that. Could you find an answer? And then he would mark it as complete. For the ones he interacts a lot, we created some shortcuts. Let's pretend Anna is his assistant name. So let's find Anna's notes here. Okay, now we have two notes. One of them with a task that is not completed and another one with a task that is completed. Now let's pretend he's meeting with Anna right now, and also that we have much more notes here. That's really what happens. He has a lot of notes with her name. Now let's say he want to find all the notes with uncompleted tasks related to Anna. Contains tasks not completed. Hold on, we can do better. Save the search. Let's call it Anna. Let's add this to the shortcuts. And now we have that search saved here. Let's go to the notes view again. And let's say Anna just arrived and I want to see what are the uncompleted tasks. Here we go. And since I am in the Notepad notebook, all I have to do is click here to create a new note and start taking notes during my meeting with Anna. Isn't that cool? Okay, why not assign the tasks? First, because he was the only one using Evernote at that point in time. And also because I didn't want to take him out of the note taking, take him out of all the notes he took during those meetings. I wanted him to stay in that notebook and have access to all the notes he took in the past. If he were to go to the tasks, open that drawer, he would lose access. It would be a distraction. He would lose access to the timeline, all the notes from all the meetings with Anna. Today he's assigning the tasks, but at the beginning when we started all this, it would be too much. I prefer to start it very simple and we would add new steps each time. The system today is amazing. This is just a little part of it that I wanted to show you. And it is interesting that he's still using this combination even though he's now really assigning tasks to other people on his staff. I think that having the notes there, it's really useful. It's really important to him. It gives him context. He can go back in time. But that's the beauty of Evernote. If you are a more task-oriented person, you can use the task drawer. It's the same team, it's the same tasks, but we are using them in such a different way. The next person to start using Evernote in the company was his assistant, and we started with something quite simple. A shared notebook. He created that notebook on his Evernote and shared it with her, and she started using the Evernote Camera to scan receipts and other documents and save them in that notebook. If you want to learn how to use the Evernote Camera to scan or take pictures, there is a video, check the description below. The second shared notebook we created was for the quarterly meetings. He also created that in his notebook and shared it with her. She's the one that takes notes during that meeting. She uses the same strategy, take the notes, add the tasks. Nowadays, she's already assigning those tasks, and also those notes, they have the tagging system. Each person has its tag. The beauty here is that if he selects that tag in his Evernote, it doesn't matter where the note is, if it is in his Notepad notebook or in the quarterly meeting notebook. If he want to see all the notes with that person name in it, just filter them by that tag and he'll see all the notes. And then came the calendar. True story, the first time I saw the beta of the Evernote Calendar, I thought about this client. He's the type of person that prepares himself for future meetings. He takes a lot of notes, And although it's not hard to find that note because he can filter by the name of that person and see all the notes, including the note he's working on for the future meeting. What he does now is every time he is preparing for a future meeting, he uses the calendar and connects that to that future meeting. So now all he has to do is go to home, and let's say the meeting is here on the 20th, the note is already here, just click here and open the note. Because I had to do all this step by step, he ended up getting too much addicted to Evernote search. Until the other day, he would search for my name instead of going to the tags and looking for it, or even using Command J. To this day, I cannot make him use Command J. But the search works, right? Because my name will show up as a tag in the search. It's Evernote, you can do it in so many ways. But I have no regrets. This is really the only problem in it, and it's not really a problem. I don't think I would be able to make him move to Evernote if I taught him everything at once, if I created the entire system at once. And this is something I never do. I always go step by step. And this, I think, is the real lesson here. If you want to use Evernote for a big project or something big, try not to do it all at once. Create a habit of using Evernote to capture everything, and only then build your system on top of all those needs. On this other video, I share another system that I built for another client. And if my videos are useful for you, please consider joining my Patreon or becoming a YouTube member. See you soon.